Hello everyone. This video is a response to Boltorange. I had mentioned this race in the description of another video that he had done about a plant race, and he said that he was very interested in hearing about this race specifically. I had included this race with my Burning Heaven videos, so I wanted to do something just to point out what it was and describe it a little bit. The race is the Uzudirig-ĝeštin. Kind of a mouthful. It basically means mushroom vine in Sumerian, and Sumerian in my Burning Heaven setting is basically the common tongue or the divine tongue. And I'll just go through a little bit, and you're looking at the picture of it there. Their demeanor: they do not talk at all, since they don't have vocal cords or even mouths. They communicate with a form of sign language that mixes dance with limb gestures. They are lovers of art and dance, and much of their free time is spent in those pursuits, especially in the sunlight. The Uzudirig-ģeštin take a neutral approach to life and are willing to forgive much. They photosynthesize most of their food and need to spend, a lot of time in the light to feed. Although they can also absorb decaying matter through the fungi strands for nourishment. Both the vines and the fungi share what nourishment they receive, so as long as sunlight or decaying matter is available, they can survive. They have a nice symbiotic relationship. Their appearance: they are actually two living things, moving fungi and long vine plants, that have formed, like I said, the symbiotic relationship. They are made from 8-foot-long fungi muscular strands that can move fairly quickly. And the plant vines that keep them together and orchestrate their movements. The long vine plant is the brains of the collaborative creature. The Uzudirig-ģeštin have many joints, if you can call them that, because these joints are essentially where the vines have tied the long fungus strands together. None of them look exactly the same, and they're all fairly unique wherever these joints are. They have joints in various places. They can move them around, and they can be fairly fluid. If they need to adjust their joints, that's very easy to do. Many other races find them to be disturbing because they are so unlike anything else in the setting. They rarely live past 30 years of age, so they're a fairly, short-lived race. They're fairly average in most senses of the word when it comes to stats. They have a +1 or -1, depending on what sort of system you're using. Some of their racial special abilities: they have a tendency to be artistic. They're fairly tough because they don't have organs in the general sense of the word, and the plants are kind of like not really like a tree bark, but a little bit denser. They have no odor, and they really don't need to sleep in the sense of the word. They're more like elves, where they need to just sort of think on things, sort of not really hibernate, but sort of like meditate. I originally created these races for the H.A.R.P. High Adventure Role-Playing System, and in H.A.R.P. it separates race and culture into two different things. But their culture, just some details on it. They spend much of their time living in or around rivers. They have, huts or, temporary shelters for when storms hit, but most of the time they like to stay outdoors. The river is the center of their lives. They actually get out on the river itself, boating. Some have houseboats. Their buildings are either built to withstand the rivers or flooding. And these kind of shelters are very crude. Nothing really that other races would be able to use for the most part. More like shanties. Let's see here. They allow water to flow into the floors of their dwellings because they need it. It is sometimes hard to discern where the river ends and their dwellings begin. Large settlements typically have a busy waterfront with many docks and even mills. Fishing and boating are favored professions of many of them, but as I said before, they really don't eat them. They more like digest them through the fungus strands, decaying matter. Many of them are able swimmers. Let's see here. They prefer not to wear clothes or decorate themselves because that actually hinders photosynthesis. Sometimes they will paint themselves or attach things to them for style reasons. Sometimes if they find that if they wear clothing in town where other races are, they're more acceptable. They are patient people that like the simple things in life, such as watching the river flow by them, and the things that have fallen into it. They like nature and are in fact part, like I said, fungus and plant in a symbiotic relationship. And they depend on nature more so than most other humanoid races. Just some general areas of expertise that they would be better at. Things like herbs, navigation they seem to be better at, swimming, that sort of thing. And that is pretty much the race in entirety. Hopefully you found that somewhat interesting. And this, like I said, this is going out to Boltorange. Thanks, man. Have a good one.